Good morning, Liberty County. Team Liberty back again to provide to you our weekly COVID update. Thank you for persevering and hanging in there with us all these months. Seems like it's been quite a while, but we certainly do appreciate your attention to what we have to present to you, and we do ask that you share it with your respective communities, if I may say so. Certainly your family members and those organizations you may be affiliated with. Please share this information. We need it shared because we're finding out that even at this stage of the pandemic, that we still need people to be compliant. We still need people to be a committee of one, that we help to do our part to contain the pandemic in Liberty County. You're going to hear in a few minutes some stats given by these persons who will follow me. The stats aren't, horrible, but they do require our attention, and they do require that we remain vigilant in the process. So, but let me at first say thank you for being compliant thus far, and we just ask that you continue to do so, that we may all weather this storm, that we don't know the length of it. So we just have to keep doing our part, and I just ask you to keep doing that, if you will, please, ma'am, please, sir. Now, the county has made some changes, which Mr. Brown will elaborate on in a few minutes. Well, we only make those changes because we care about our community, and we have to help people to take care of themselves. Some people need a little extra help, if I may say so. So we're trying to look out for our citizens, especially in this case, our young people who seem to be a little bit nonchalant about the seriousness of the virus. And we do know, we heard this morning that many of them are asymptomatic. So it's not that you have a fever. You could be asymptomatic and still be a carrier of the virus. And certainly we don't want you to worsen your personal conditions or to infect others in your family and your surroundings. So that's why the county is doing what it's doing. Of course, all of us are together in this. I say the county, but the city too, the cities also on the same sheet of music. So that's why we're doing what we're doing. It's not because we're trying to be mean or trying to be a community that's not citizen friendly, but we're trying to be scientific friendly, because the science tells us that we need to corral as much as we can. You will notice from looking at the national news that those states and our cities that have been vigilant and making sure that the respective restaurants, where those public places are compliant, or where the best results are right now. So we're trying to make sure that Liberty County is one of those. So please, ma'am, please, sir, work with us as we try to work for you. At this time, I will yield to, who am I yielding to? The mayor of the city of Hinesville, the Honorable Alan Brown.
Thank you, sir. Good morning to everybody in Hinesville and Liberty County again. As of this morning, Liberty County had 894 cases. I hope that's today, not yesterday. And 8 of those were confirmed overnight, which was an increase of about 75 since our last session with you. There's not much to say in the way of new information that we can bring you this morning, but I would encourage each person in Hinesville and Liberty County to take the time to visit the Department of Public Health website and educate themselves on the daily case counts, cumulative numbers, hospitalization data, and the rolling averages for a week and 2 weeks at a time. The information can be found at www.covid19gachd.org. Just a quick reminder for those interested in being tested, the Department of Public Health and Diversity Health Center are still conducting tests on a weekly basis. You can learn more about that on their websites. And I will say that Diversity will be conducting drive-through testing for the first 150 visitors at the Schumann Rec Center in James Brown Park on Tuesdays and Thursdays beginning tomorrow. That's Thursday, August 27th from 9 till 11. Please visit the City of Hinesville's site for a map on how to, cityofhinesville.org / I guess you say 517 / COVID-19 for a map on how to enter and exit the park for testing. You can also find that information on the city's social media accounts. All right, we're here to talk about COVID, but as I've said before, and I'll say it again, one of the other major items that have been severely affected by COVID-19 is Liberty County's census count for 2020. There are a number of areas affected by our census count, and we want all of them to receive the full attention they deserve once the count is over, and that means the funding that we will receive from the future from the federal government. Census data helps provide funding for our hospitals, our schools, infrastructure, economic development, and much more. I've said that before. But all the things that affect the future growth of our community, in addition to that. As of this morning, here are the counts for the municipalities. I'll run through them quickly. Allenhurst, 54.6. Flemington, 59.9. Gum Branch, 51.4. Hinesville, 57.1. Midway, 57.2. Riceboro, 48.1. Walterville, 41%. And Liberty County itself is sitting at 53.6%. By the way, I did ask the question, that's of the households in those communities. So it's not people, it's the households. Hopefully that number is better than we think it is. But it's only up by 0.8% from last week. So I do ask all of you to please complete your 2020 census for the sake of our communities. The deadline to do so is now September 30th, just over a month away, and you can fill it out online at www.2020census.gov, or you can find more information on completing it via email or phone. Please get counted. Please help spread the word. Undercounted people cost our communities over $3,000 per year for 10 years. So one person uncounted will cost our communities over $30,000 over the next 10 years. Multiply that by several thousand and that number gets unbelievable. So in closing, I would remind everyone to continue practicing the 3 W's: wear your mask, wash your hands, and watch your distance from other people. Thank you, and stay safe in Hinesville and Liberty County.
Good morning. Once again, we're here giving you an update on our coronavirus issues and activities throughout Liberty County, and I want to echo the sentiment of both the Honorable Donald Lovin and Honorable Mayor Allen Brown. We are diligently working to help make our community safe. And what we're hearing now is some new news. It's not necessarily new to us, but I want to share this with you. So far as the transmission of the virus, there's an uptick of positive cases for young people. And right now, based on the statistics, there is a 40% positive rate for those who are tested positive for coronavirus. In other words, these individuals are asymptomatic, and 40% of them are asymptomatic, and they're carrying the virus unknowingly. What that tells us is that we have to do more testing. And as a result, the mayor mentioned and the chairman alluded to, we are collaborating with the city of Hinesville is collaborating with the county and Diversity Health. What we're doing, the mayor did mention the logistics of getting in and out of James A. Brown Park. The route would be you can come in on Patriot Trail and then take a right on Mary Lou Frazier Drive and then a left on Tupelo. And the site would be centered right in front of basically Charles Schumann Center. And basically we're trying to make this a seamless flow of traffic in and out so that we can get you in and out. Now, and there's a limited number of testing that will be done. And so we're going to ask that those who are desiring to participate in the testing to be mindful of the fact that there is a small window of opportunity from 9 to 11, and we will have traffic control. We have some logistic support to make sure that things are done smoothly. But we want you to get tested. If you're not symptomatic, basically, and you feel that perhaps you've been exposed, come out. But we want to test as many of those that we can because we don't want to have some false sense of security here. And I think The numbers will reflect that once we have ramped up our testing. And so we want to encourage all of our community members to stay vigilant and do what we can do, as the mayor said, the 3 W's. Wear your mask, watch your distance, and wash your hands, because those are simple things, but they are very impactful, and they can affect the spread of this virus in a positive way if we continue to abide by these guidelines. So we're encouraging our community to continue doing what you're doing. The cases right now, almost at 900 positive cases in Liberty County. Those numbers, you may, as I stated earlier, you may see a spike. But we're doing that for a purpose, and the purpose is to identify those positive cases once again so that we can do the necessary mitigation efforts to help curb the further spread of the virus. So thank you again, Liberty County, for your assistance in this unprecedented time that we are faced with. We know that this is brand new, but I commend the leaders of this community for staying on the task and doing what we can do to keep Liberty County safe. Now I'm going to yield to County Administrator Joy Brown.
Thanks, Kenny. This morning I just want to mention just a little more on the numbers for you. They've already mentioned all the testing that's going on, which is a great partnership there. The numbers do continue to look pretty good, but again, I think that, as Kenny mentioned, personally, my opinion also, along with Kenny's, is that once we get these testings coming back like they were at one time, you'll probably see those numbers go up. Let me mention those totals. The average weekly total testing for last week was about 3,326 tests that were administered. This is down from a high of 6,200 tests back during June. So I think we'll see those tests rise. Daily case rate averages is up a little bit from this time last week to about 10.71. It was at 6.29. Daily case rates, though, are down just a tad from 18 to 17.3. The number of positive tests has trended downward a little bit, and hospitalizations are down from 5 to 4. Again, there's not that many critical bed facilities here locally at the hospital, so one means a huge difference there. General offices here for the county has really been no change. Masking policy continues to be in effect, and there's absolutely no change in the court facility function. You remember that I mentioned last week that the state of emergency was extended until the 10th of September, so Chief Justice come back before on that time and probably do something different there. The chairman mentioned a change that had happened, and I'll elaborate that on a little bit more. We had received some concern expressed over the non-compliance of the social distancing guidelines at some of the recreation facilities that had reopened. You may remember we stepped back into those for a phase 1 opening and then a phase 2 opening. The final, of course, would be the overall reopening of all facilities. They discussed some of these things at their last meeting and basically voted to return to a pre-phase 1, which means that facilities, including the recreation centers, the rental facilities, the ball fields, the basketball courts, the playgrounds, the tennis courts, the batting cages, and the skate parks are closed. As the chairman mentioned, that's unfortunate. It was one of the last things I think they wanted to do was take a step backwards, but out of an abundance of caution and looking at the transmission rates that were occurring in the county, along with guidance from the Coastal Health District concerning some of those type of activities, made that hard decision. And they will continue to monitor those rates, monitor those guidelines, and the guidance that they get in an effort to reopen as soon as possible some of those facilities. Commission meetings really haven't changed. We're still practicing those limited accessibility guidelines at this point. People that want to be on the agenda can call in to put forth an item for chairman consideration before the agenda closes, and then would be notified, and it's limited to those people only that could attend. Guess in closing too, just to echo a few things, things are remaining on the downtrend a little. It is a great, I guess, opportunity to be part of a community and of a team that cares so much about what's going on in the community, that they would work together, do some things that are uncomfortable, take them out of a comfort zone, limit their activities to be able to make a difference in the overall community, but together we're doing that. I leave with one direct thought on the census. As the mayor and others have mentioned, it's a direct link to grants and things that come to the community. That includes appropriations to hospitals, appropriations to healthcare facilities, appropriations on the state level as it pertains to staffing and everything in our local health department. All those are looked at in a holistic view of the total population count. It's imperative that this is the only chance for the next 10 years that you're going to have to make a difference for the community in getting those critical things that the community needs. So please make sure you take advantage of that. Please stay safe. Please continue to mask, and may God bless.
Thank you, Mayor Brown, Mr. Howard, Mr. Brown, for your comments and your continued diligence in ensuring that our citizens are receiving the information they need to receive. I want to close with this. The census is certainly very important to us. We are a growing community. We've done a lot of work to ensure that we have been a growing community, so we don't want to lose ground by not having the households get counted. So please do your part to ensure that every household in Liberty County is counted. Just a note of sharing, Mr. Brown forwarded with me a letter from a young man that's leaving the county extension office. And he had come to this community from an outside community, and he said he had been told what a great place Liberty County was, and he found all that to be true and more. So I said, hey, write a letter to the editor, share that if you will. My point to you is, even though we're dealing with COVID, man, we're still a robust community. Commercial sales are still good. Housing is going very well. So we got a lot to be proud of. We're still Liberty County proud. So while we deal with COVID, we are still a community that's a great place to be. I want you to know that. I do understand what the social distancing has meant. And so for some of us, we need an outlet. And you can do that if you follow the CDC guidelines. But just know that your community is still growing in spite of dealing with COVID. And we're going to be that place that you are proud of, that place that will be indicated when the numbers come in, the true numbers come in of who we are. So please, ma'am, please, sir, ensure that your household and every household you know participates with the census process. You've been watching the weather, also know that there's a storm out, in the Gulf, so let's all not get complacent with our preparations locally for dealing with hurricanes, our disaster preparedness, so let's do that so that if we have to deal with that, then we're ready also. And of course, our hearts and prayers go out to those folk out in the Gulf who are waiting for that storm to hit shore now. I'm going to close with saying that, once again, it's been said, but we can't say it enough. The 3 W's, wash your hands, wear your face covering, and watch your distance. So until next time, Team Liberty, saying have a great week. Thank you.